Okay. So while you were living here, and you mentioned that you got yourself a crew together, and in the book, I think your crew included another guy named Michael,
Yeah.
a guy named Dewey,
Yes.
and another guy that I can't remember his name.
Roe. His name was Roe.
Talk about how you decided to assemble this crew, and where did they live at around here?
Okay, so Michael Grant stayed on 3rd Avenue and 57. Dewey stayed right here on Slauson and 2nd Avenue, and Roe stayed on 54th and 4th Avenue. Yeah.
And did you guys meet at Horace Mann or before that?
No, before that. We was before that. We met, well, me, Dewey, and Michael Grant, we met before that. And Roe did too, but Roe ended up going to Hollywood High. And he was a swimmer. You know, Roe was, his dad, his mother was German, you know, so she was white and his dad was black. So Roe, he got to be tall, lanky, and, you know, and he was a good, excellent swimmer.
So were those four guys the heart and soul of your crew?
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt, yeah. As a matter of fact, we had a guy named Tony Morgan, and I had him in my crew, but, you know, he snitched on us about some guns that we stole out the Western Surplus. So I knew right then I couldn't take him to the next level of where I was going. So we just, you know, said, dude, you can't be with us. And so I kept Roe, Dewey, and Michael Grant. Michael Grant, he had alcohol problems, so he couldn't do the business I was doing, but we still had love for Mike. And I looked out for him, so it was actually me, Dewey, and Roe. And we went from there.
Now, the guy that ended up telling on you regarding those guns at the Western Surplus, how did you treat that back then? I know there's different ways to handle a guy like that, anywhere from a little beat down or a verbal admonishment. You know, what was, at that time, what was the way to handle someone like him?
Well, like Tony, you know, we used to call it getting them up, you know, so we would throw him, we didn't have no problem. So, but as far as Tony was concerned, we just left him alone, you know, because we grew up as kids, you know, so it was like, dude, we can't mess with you, you too weak. So it wasn't no beat down, it was, you know, it wasn't no really repercussions, but us not dealing with him no more.
Did he accept that from you guys and understood why that was happening?
Yeah, he understood it, but he kept saying that he didn't do it and this and that. But he snitched. He was the only one. And matter of fact, one of the officers told us that he snitched. You know, and I know they be playing that role, good guy, bad guy, cop. But the thing is that he snitched on us, and we know he did. You know.
So you feel confident in that he was the one that told?
Oh, without a doubt. You know, because you know, we were displaying the guns when we came from Western Surplus. And at his house, we were looking at him. His little brother came in there and told his mother we had guns. So when she came in, we hit him. And we told her we didn't have no guns. And then she talked to him, then later on, the police was coming to our house, asking for guns. So we know who told him.
Now, is there a chance that the mom told, though?
Oh, the mom told without a doubt. Yeah. But she made her son tell, too.
Okay, yeah.
So she was like, oh, Anthony gonna tell y'all everything.
Okay.
Yeah, gonna tell y'all everything. You ain't gotta worry about that. No, you know, they took the guns. They took the guns, and it was a blessing we didn't have to go to jail for that, you know. But we didn't give up all the guns. You know, we gave up one gun apiece, but we had other guns, you know. The very first time I went to the park, we had a football league, and there was electric football. I don't know if people know, but they had an electric football game. So everybody on the block, the guys had two teams. You know, I had like the Baltimore Colts and I forgot who else I had, maybe the Rams. And then we would play electric football every Sunday. And then we watched TV, and then we would play football right here in the streets until I ran into a pole over there and busted my head. So when that happened, you know, we started going to the park. So that's when we started going there, playing ball. We played football. I played on the White Sox baseball team there, you know. So it was different things. They always had some type of activity that was trying to help the youth that was in the neighborhood. They tried.
Now, when you mentioned all the places where your friends from your crew lived, the first thing that I think of is this is all 60 Crip area.
Right.
But at that time, all you guys kind of gravitated towards Van Ness.
Yeah, a lot of us did, but a lot of us didn't. You know, a lot of them, they were Crips, and that's what they stood for, you know. But, you know, this is the brother that lived next door to me that was a Crip, and then me and him eating breakfast together. We having dinner. We having campouts in the backyard with tents that we made up, and we sleeping over each other's house together. So come on, man, it's like, no. You know, I didn't care where them dudes, whatever they chose, that was them. They chose that, but I still had love for them because they was my people. They was my friend.
So the main setback then, I guess, it was the West Side. Most of the West Side was up at St. Andrews Park, but they came. Some of them come down this far at that time, right?
Right. It was. Matter of fact, they hung at Sportsman's Park too. You know, that's where Tookie and them would always be. They was at Sportsman Park, so it was always. And then we went to Crenshaw High School, and some of them some Crips had to come to Crenshaw, so it was always a problem. But it was a problem with them. I never really had any problems with no 60s. Because this is where I grew up at, you know.
With the West Side.
With the West Side, it was always some kind of problem. And it wasn't with everybody. I mean, you know, me and Melvin Former, we went to Horseman, you know, and he stayed in the 80s. We got love for each other right today. I could pick up the phone, call Melvin, it's all good. And he would talk good about me, you know, and I talk good about him because that's the way it is.
So you went to school with Melvin?
Yeah, I went to school with Melvin Forman, yeah.
Okay, we're talking about OG Skull.
Skull, yeah.
A baby West Side, original A-Trey gangster.
Without a doubt, yeah.
What was it like when you met him back then?
Shit, we was in junior high school, you know. We was in like wood class and just, you know, math class. So we were just doing and talking to girls and that kind of stuff, you know. So we wasn't really doing nothing, you know, doing it like that. But you know, we stuck to be friends, you know. We were always friends, so, you know.
Did you ever cross paths with a very young Monster Cody? He would have been about 12 years old when you was coming up.
Well, yeah, I had a friend, and him and Monster was real cool. We didn't, you know, it was like a passerby thing. You know, we went by, I think because his grandmother stayed up, I think, somewhere on Victoria, right off of 54th. And my partner went over there, and he had told me, he said, man, Michael Jourdain out in the car. So he came out, we shook hands, we talked for a minute. We just chopped it up. It was a little small talk, but that's about it with Monster.
But he also lived up here on 69th.
Yeah.
Like right down the street.
Yeah, and he dealt with, I think he dealt with Cutes and Mouse and all them, and they cool. Me and Cutes, I've got Cutes in the book, The Magnificent Seven. His cousin Chucky stayed right here off of 54th and 2nd Avenue, you know. So, I mean, it was crazy. It was mixed up, you know what I'm saying? But if you had love for a person, you know, then you had love for a person. First time I heard about Magnificent Seven is when, from Chucky. We used to go over to his house, lift a lot of weights and things like that. So that's the first time I heard about it. And Mouse, Cutes, and Chucky and them used to come over there, and they were out of their territory. So they was in V&G hood. So a lot of V&Gs wanted to get at them. But, you know, I'm like, man, these people cool. That's Chucky's cousin in there. So I used to put the freeze on a lot of that, you know.
Okay, let me ask you about how the name of the set here, because now it goes by Van Ness Gangsta Blood, VNGB.
Yeah.
But I thought way back in the day it was Van Ness Boys.
It was Van Ness Boys.
I don't think you used the word boys in the book.
Yeah, Boys is in there.
It's in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
Van Ness Boys. That's what I said. I said more of Van Ness Boys than anything, because it was Van Ness Boys, and then we would be Van Ness Boys, Van Ness Gang, you know, and all that. I created a gang sign. West Side gang sign.
Which one was that?
It was like this. That's the W and that's the V in the middle.
Okay.
So that's West Side Van Ness.
And then this came later, the V.
Yeah, the V came later, and then we used to do like this, showing the big V for Van Ness. We started all that stuff in juvenile hall. Yeah, they put the blood on it, you know. But the crazy thing about it is, when we were coming up, when we were in the gang, we had naturals, and we would put a red streak in our head. We always had a red streak, you know what I'm saying? And that represented Van Ness, you know, that red streak. So we was always on a red tip. I don't know how, but that's just the way it panned out, you know?
Do you have any recollection of who from the generation that came after you decided to align themselves with the Bloods? This would have been probably late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, see, the thing is, the late 70s, you got to keep in mind that in the book, when I talk about when I got involved with gang activity, you know, it was for a short period of time, but I put a stamp I put a stamp in the hood, you know, that was so profound that they respected me. And then what I did is I transferred over, we started hustling. because I was like, let's get the hustling. And that's when Tootie Reese, he used to be all them and his people riding in the hoods. They had Rolls Royces, Cadillacs, and jewelry and girls and money, and I mean living like kings. So that's what influenced me, and we crossed over to the hustling life, and that had to be at least 75. Yeah, 75, because from then I was hustling. That's even when I told Tookie, I said, man, I told him that we could have got money together, and he laughed at me, thought I was just a young, Mike's young and crazy, but I was serious. And I truly believe if he would have stayed down with me, he'd have never been on death row, because he's been getting real money. Real money.
It seemed like Tookie was more interested in gangbanging than making money.
Yeah, he was more into to that, I guess because of the muscles and, had him swole up, and then I heard he start smoking Sherm, and that right there took him off, and I couldn't believe some of the things I heard about the brother because I know him. Yeah. I know him, and he was always a good brother. But that Sherm, it'll do that to you,
All right, well, you mentioned the park a moment ago. I want to go up there and, I want you to show me, where you used to post up at the park, man.
Okay, without a doubt.
Okay, let's head over there.
Let's do that.
All right.
Okay.